I've created this rig with the popsicle sticks. This is the pelvis and the two legs are being attached to each other. If you take up any leg, how the pelvis is changing, how the pelvis is rotating and going up. Similarly, if the legs are coming back and forward like it's a walking, see how the pelvis is changing. Front and back, front and back. The same thing happens with the chest. This is the chest and these are the two arms which are attached to the chest. So at any given point of time, if you take up the arm, see how the chest is changing, how the chest is changing. Similarly, if one arm is going forward, how the chest is changing, and if the same arm goes back, like while you are making the walk cycle, one arm goes forward and another arm goes back, see how the chest line is changing its rotation, how it is going forward and backward. Usually, a walk cycle consists of 24 frames. So we'll go to the timeline, adjust it to 24 frames. And as you know, in walk cycle, one leg goes forward, then the other leg goes backward. So you can take any one of these and create line. And never select any controller individually and key it, but I would suggest you to click on the quick selection set of the PM and key accordingly. One leg goes backward, just for the sake of our understanding, we'll make it to -2 and the forward leg will make it to +2. Quick selection set, we have keyed it in frame number 1. We'll go to frame number 24 and key so that the first and the last frame are exactly the same. Since there is being a tension which is formed on the legs too much straight, we'll take down the pelvis and keep it little down. The value will keep it to -0.5. So again, we'll middle click it, take it to the last one and paste the same value. Now we'll go to the middle part where these legs will be opposite to each other. Click on the quick selection set, press S, and then this leg which was back, make it to forward. This leg which was forward, make it to back. And what will be the value? The same thing, -2 and +2. We're just keeping these things into whole number. Again, just for the double security, we'll click the quick selection set and press S. One leg is going forward, another leg is going backward, forward, backward. It's almost like a skiing. Now, let's come on the pelvis part. The first thing of the walk cycle is to pay attention from the pelvis to the feet. The upper part of the body will take in the later stages. Now when one leg is forward and another leg is backward, the pelvis cannot remain intact like this. It will also rotate like what I'm doing now. So since the left leg is forward and the right leg is backward, the pelvis will be rotating in this position and will make it the value of -10 rotation Y. Copy and paste the same thing in the last pose. And since the rotation Y is -10 for this pose, so in the opposite pose it will be +10. I mean when the pelvis will be rotating this side. Now you see the legs are going forward and backward, and at the same time the pelvis is also rotating along with it. Now when this feet comes from backward to forward, it does not slide on the ground and come. It goes up a little and comes forward. So from back it goes up a little and comes forward. So now you see the half cycle is from 1 to 12. So what can be the position, ideal position for the leg to go up? Ideally I should say 6, but no, we should not make it in 6. As we know from the bouncing ball that any object takes more time to go up and less time to come down. So, keeping in mind that principle, instead of making it in 6, we'll make it in 7 or 8. We'll make it in 7. So, in 7, the leg is a little bit up. And what is the extent of the up? That is the translation Y. The translation Y will keep it to 0.5. Again, click on the entire set and press S. So you see earlier, this feet was sliding and coming forward, but now it is going up and settling down, going up and settling down. Similarly, the left leg, when the left leg will be coming from back to forward, instead of skidding, it should also go up and come down. So, what is the frame in which we should take up the leg? For the first leg, we made it to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So here also, while the leg is coming from the back to the front, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, here. So this leg should also go up to the extent of 0.5. Usually there is no hard and fast rule, but these values are being kept for our convenience so that we try to have a better understanding of how the walk cycle works. Again, click on the entire quick selection set and press S. Now you see, compared to the earlier one where both the feet were sliding, now the feet is going up and coming down. The feet are going up and coming down. A bit better compared to the previous one. So now pay attention to the pelvis. Let's go to the orthographic view. It will be convenient for you to understand. Now see, both these legs are planted on the ground and the pelvis is being balanced. The moment you take up one of the legs, you definitely have to shift the weight of this pelvis from this leg to this leg because now this leg is not on the ground. So go to the pelvis, we have to translate, we have to shift the weight. We have to shift the weight to this leg. How much can be the shifting? Just for our convenience, we'll keep it 2.5. You see, the moment the leg is going up, the weight of the pelvis is getting shifted to this side. And we had make it 2.5. Of course, when this leg will go up, again in this point, we need to shift the pelvis weight to this leg. Then what should be the value? It should be minus 0.5. Check out. You see how the pelvis is behaving. There's one more thing which we need to do to make it a more balanced. When this leg is going up, the pelvis weight is shifting to the other side. Also at the same time, the pelvis will be rotating to the other side. What should be the rotation? Minus 5. Just for the sake of our convenience, we'll keep it to minus 5. It can rotate more than this also, but just for our understanding purpose. So again, here when the pelvis is shifting to this part, of course, there will also be a rotation change to the value of plus 5. So when the leg is coming up, the body weight is shifting. And then again, when both the legs are touching the ground, the pelvis is perfectly in the middle. Again, when the leg is coming up, the body weight is getting shifted to the other leg. The weight is getting shifted on this side. And again, when both the legs are on the ground and the body is perfectly balanced, the pelvis is in the middle. So we have seen the translation, the rotation and everything of the pelvis. And now when the body weight shifts, the leg comes up to the maximum extent, then not only that the pelvis rotates and shifts to this side, but it also comes up. Now the extent of coming up can be more or less depending on the rig. So here we'll make it to minus 0.15. So again, when it goes down and again it comes up, then again the same extent, minus 0.15. So just check, this is how things work out. So when the leg goes forward and backward, the pelvis is one of the main determinant factors which suffers translation and rotation in many axes. Now let's focus towards the feet. When the right leg is coming forward, we do not place the entire feet flat like what has been done now. The heel is the first thing to touch the ground. So when the character is coming up and keeping the feet on the ground, it is expected that he will be keeping like this. And then after a couple of frames, the feet will be flat with the ground. So what we'll do? Here the contact point is 12. So we'll create a key in 14, and what we'll do here in 12, we'll rotate it up. Just give a value of 20. So you see, since the key in 14 was already done, so the feet came, it hit the heel, was the first thing to hit it, and then it slapped on the ground. So similarly, when this feet will be coming forward, like the left foot will be coming forward to the back, so here also we need to make it minus 20. Now, if we do the last key of a cycle, then of course the value of the feet in 24 has to be exactly same and has to be pasted in 1. So what we'll do, we'll go to 1 and In 3, we'll create a key. It's exactly the same thing we did for these feet. Remember? In 12, we didn't do anything. We first plotted a key on 14 and then we changed the 12th pose. Similarly, we are doing for the same. For this feet, we are also creating a key on 3. So what we are doing is this 24 where we have changed the feet position for the heel to make it touch the ground. So the same value, middle click mouse button and press in 1. So you see how the heel is touching the ground and then the feet is coming in contact with it. Now there's another thing. When the feet goes back, what happens? When the feet goes back till the middle part, if we go to the orthographic view, the 6 or 7 approximately is the place where both the legs coincide with each other. Once it starts crossing, the heel starts to leave the ground. And this is what happens. We'll give it to -15. The left leg first touches the heel, then the total foot touches the ground, the foot travels and goes back, and as it starts going back to the maximum extent, the heel starts leaving the ground. And again, the foot comes forward and places on the ground. For this one also, going forward, then slowly it's going back, and then as it starts going back, the heel starts leaving the ground. What is the extent? -15. So of course, as briefed earlier, since it's a cycle, so any key for the first and the last has to be exactly the same. So I'll take this 24th key, middle mouse button, and press S in 1. There's one small thing which is pending. Frame number 1, we can see that the right leg is at the back and slowly it's coming forward and the heel is touching the ground. At this point of frame number 7, where the feet is supposed to be in its highest position, you can see that it is perfectly straight and parallel to the ground, which never happens. So what happens? As the heel or the feet comes forward and reaches its highest point, it slowly starts tipping down. Let's give it a value of 10. So you see how natural the feet is looking now. Let's implement the same thing for this one. Going back is fine, coming is fine, and here on the topmost position tips down to 10. Let's make a play blast. The left one was just the basic, and check the right one. This looks definitely more closer to the realistic walk. Now let's focus onto the upper part of the body. Click on the quick selection set. Plot the keys again. There are chances that there are controllers in which some of the keys might get missed out. We have worked till the pelvis, but now we need to focus on the spine 1, the spine 2. This is called the shoulder here, but I would rather call it as a chest. These are the 2 shoulder controllers, the hands, the fingers, the pole vectors, and so on. We'll select together, take a value of 80 or 85, something like that. Just bring it manually down. Don't go with the values right at this moment. And this hand, take it down and take it. So this is how we usually walk. Now we'll also convert the values to a uniform one. Translation X is 2.351. Let's make it 3. No, 3 is too much. Shall we make it 2? We'll try to make it in a whole number as much as possible, just for the sake of our convenience. 5, 4, no, let's keep it 6. This is -5. Should we? No, -6. Okay, 78. Let's keep it on 80. -29 point something, make it 30. 5.73 something, make it 6. So 2, 6, -6, 80, -36. These are the values in the whole number. The first pose and the last pose should be the same. And since these keys are already plotted here, so we need to remove them. Or we can hold in one together and we can remove it. We'll of course plot it later on. Now let's come to this hand. Minus 3.163, whatever it is there. Let's make it to 3. Let's make it to minus 5. No, 5 is too much happening. Let's make it to minus 6. 6.396, whatever. Let's make it to 679 point. Okay, make it to 80. 12 point, make it to 13. And minus 2 point, whatever, minus 2. The right hand is forward and the left hand is backward. But can there be any similarity between these two? Now we can see that here the value of translation X is 2, but this is translation X is 3. So what we make it in 2? Let's make it in 2. Or if we can make this in 3, no, this seems to be too much. No, this doesn't look good. So let's make it 3. Cool. Then comes translation Y 6. For the right hand, translation Y minus 6, okay, that's good. Translation Z is minus 6 for the right hand. Translation Z is 6 for the left hand, cool. Rotation X is 80, rotation X is 80 for both the hands. Rotation Y is 13 for the right hand. Rotation Y is 13. Okay, how about if we make it 30? We'll make it 30. Rotation Z is 6 for the right hand. Rotation Z is minus 6 for the right hand. Okay, yes. Now, the first pose of any cycle and again the last pose of any cycle has to be the same. And what I'll do now is I'll delete all the in-between keys. So this is what's happening. So what was the in-between key for the pelvis? 12 was the middle point. Let's select these two, press a key in 12, and then what we'll try to do is the right hand will make it forward visually and the left hand will make it backward. What we'll try to do is whatever values this left hand was there when it was at the back, we'll try to implement those same values to the right hand and vice versa. That is, whenever the right hand was forward, whatever value was there for the right hand, we'll try to implement those in the left hand. It's just to keep a parity. In actual life it does not happen, but this is just for the representation purpose. So, when the right hand was forward, what was the value? 266. So, minus 2, minus 6, and 6. What about the rotation value? Rotation was 80, 36. Plus and minus, again it will change according to the rigging technical specifications. 80, 36. So let's come here, check. 80 minus 30 and 6. What was the value of this left hand when it was back? 366. So plant the same values. 3, 6, 6. And what was the other value? Rotation. Rotations by 80, 30 minus 6. 80, 30 minus 6. So you see, both the arms are having the same value when they are equally opposite to each other. The hands are coming forward and moving backward. Now, there are certain other keys that we have deleted. You remember, just to get this parity. So we'll again click on this one. We'll select these two hands, go to the pelvis and check. So the pelvis is having some other keys. Now we'll go to 7 and plot and just make a key here. And again we'll go to 19, select this two because 19 the pelvis was having a key and plot a key here. As you know, one of the legs goes up in 7 and also in 9. The translation Y of the pelvis was going up just to maintain the balance. So what we'll do, we'll come to 7 and then we'll drag down the hands. The amount of dragging that we make for this hand can't be the same for this one. So manually we can drag it down and let the values come in decibel. Similarly here, when these hands are crossing, so you see why I'm doing it. So when the hands will be going from this position to this position, it will have an arc. Can you see? Create a line between these three, you will see that it is following an arc. Now, for the time being, let's focus on the chest. The chest follows exactly the same principle as what happens for the pelvis, just that the chest should not have any translation value. Of course, in cartoony animation, you can go to any extent, but it's better that you do not give any translation in the chest unless and until it is not required very specifically. When the left leg is forward and the right leg is backward, the pelvis rotated in this way. And hence, since the two hands are following the opposite force of the legs, this hand is forward and this hand is backward. So the chest cannot rotate like this, but the chest has to rotate like this. And also, it will balance the head. Now the head is looking here and there. But do we do it? No, we don't do it. Take the chest, rotate it so that at any given point of time, the chest can counterbalance the pelvis. Yes. So what will be the value of rotation for the chest? We can keep it to 10 also. We'll copy the key. And since here the value was 10 in the first and the last key, in the middle it has to be minus 10. For your convenience, for the time being, I'll delete this middle keys. We'll plot it later on. So you see earlier the head was going here and there, but now the head is actually focusing forward. But there is another thing which is happening now. When the body is taking up, when the body is tilting due to the counterbalance, the head is also tilting. It shouldn't, right? No matter what happens, the head should be perfectly focused straight. So what was the key in which the body was tilting? This was 7. So let's click the pelvis, press shift, click the chest and plot the key at 7 and plot the key at 19. So let's come to 7. The line is not straight, of course, because though the chest has counterbalanced the pelvis in terms of Y rotation, but in Z rotation, it has still not, which it will do now. What is the value I've given? 8. But let's, for the timing, we'll keep it to 8. So, if in 7, the value of the chest of rotation Z is 8, here also we have to rotate it on the other side, that is minus 8. So now you see, the head is perfectly focusing forward. Let's go to this one. Just check what happened to the hand. Due to the counterbalance of the chest, the hand came down to a large extent. So take it up a little bit. The same we are expecting for this hand at frame number 19. Take it up a little bit. Now let's go to the shoulders. Select these two shoulders and I would suggest you to delete these keys from in between. When one of the hand is back, the rotation of the shoulder also goes back. This goes to minus 25. We'll keep a value of minus 20. And since this hand is forward, shoulder will be also forward. We'll make it to plus 20. We'll select these two controllers, middle click mouse button, go to the last frame and make the same pose. So you see the value is 20, maybe plus or minus. Similarly, you come middle and here the hand is forward, we'll make it to 20. And here the hand is backward, we'll make it to minus 20. So now you see the shoulders are also animating. And more the controllers animate, more will give you the organic feel of the body. You remember this point 7? When both the hands needed to be adjusted. So now we'll select the two hands, select these two shoulders, come here, press S, come here and press S. Just to plot those two keys. Initially at 7, we had taken down the hand to form the arc. But due to this counterbalance, we had to take up the hand again. Now what we'll do? Take down the shoulder in rotation Y. We'll make it 20. Check rotation X. Rotation X 20. Now again, we have the luxury of taking down the hand. And whatever swing was there earlier, how nicely the hand is following an arc. Similarly, while going back, we had to face the same issue. Rotation X, again we'll make it to 20 and we'll take down the hand as much as possible, just also to have a nice arc. Same we'll be doing for the other hand. So temporarily we had to cancel the arc of the arms, but later we had regained it again. Here 20, so here hands can come down. Let's go here and check. Yeah, the hands can come down and the hands came down. So the arc which was there in the initial stages and later we had to nullify them for the counterbalance of the chest. Now again we can retain them back because the shoulders are animating now. Now we are left out with spine 1 and spine 2 and the head. So let the spine 1 follow exactly the same nature as that of the pelvis. We'll first delete these keys and we'll keep the main ones. Here the pelvis in the first pose rotated this side. So what we'll do, we'll also keep a value of spine 1 to this pose. Let's make it to -5. And hence the same thing will go here to the last value, -5. So in between it will be +5. In 7, the pelvis rotated this side. So we'll also rotate the spine to this side. Very minor though, maybe 2. Similarly, when the pelvis is going up, we'll make it rotate this one, maybe -2. Translation is not possible on the spine 1. Now let's go to spine 2. Since the spine 1 has followed the nature of the pelvis, we'll make the spine 2 follow the nature of the chest. Here we can see that the chest rotated on this side. So we'll also make the spine rotate to this side. We'll delete the small keys from here. And here the spine, the chest rotated on this side. So we'll also make the spine rotate on this side. In the initial stage, the chest did this rotation. So we'll also make the spine rotate to this side. We'll keep it 7. So as usual, the first key and the last key should be the same. Come here and we'll make it to -7. Here we can see that the hand became perfectly straight. We'll take it up a little. This is the basic body dynamics. Usually when a man walks, there is not so much of undulations in the body, but just to show you in a better way, we have done it. Now it is up to your liberty to reduce and increase the properties or the controllers, the values are there. Now pending part is the head. We'll delete these small keys and keep the bigger ones. You see here, when the body had a tilt, the head also bended. We'll make it straight. What is the value? 4.26 something, we'll make it to 5. And when here, we'll make it to -5. Initial, we just make it to -2 or -3. The same value will go here. And so here, we'll make it 3, +3. So at any given point of time, the head is focusing forward no matter what happens to the body. For the arms, take the controllers. The fingers are spread too much. Reduce the spread. Now let's look at the delay of the wrist. Here the wrist is front, here the hand is front, and from front it is going back and again it is coming. So when the hand is going back due to the delay, we'll rotate it forward. And it goes like this. We'll reduce the delay, and when it is coming forward, the delay can be more. So when this hand goes forward, the delay will be in the back. And it comes out, and when the hand goes back, the delay will be in the front part. Select the quick selection set so that all the controllers get selected. Go to the graph editor. Now everything starts from 1 and finishes at frame number 24, since the entire animation is of 24 frames. So what happens if we change the total timeline to 100? Of course, it will not animate. It will animate till here and then it will end because we have not animated after that. We'll go to the graph editor. Curves, post infinity, cycle with offset. View, infinity. So you see, the moment it does, the walk cycle continues for an infinite period of time. This is absolutely necessary more to understand the nature of the graph and how we can further tweak the graph to make our animation smoother. And now of course you see it goes on 100 and all these things till infinity it goes on. Let's select the head and go to the graph editor. Rotation X, nothing is there. Rotation Y, just look here, from here to here is actually your animation since 24. So I just keep the cursor to 24 so that you can have a look at here, because if you see these parts it will be a bit confusing as of now. So guys, you see the starting point of this animation for the head was here and the end point is here. No, this is not permittable. Since it's a cycle, the first frame and the last frame has to be identical. We'll go to the first one, select this value and come here and paste it. So now you see how the later graph also till infinity became, you see, just up and down, up and down. And now guys, just pay attention to these keys. See, this nature of the graph is very important to understand. From here to here, the graph was going up. Anyway, it was going up, and from here to here, it was coming down. Since you know that in the initial stages of this video, we have been told that whatever you key, do not key any controller individually, but always select the quick selection set and then press S. So these keys have been formed automatically in course of time. But one thing, be very careful, the more you create the keys, the more jerky the animation is likely to be. Yes, of course there are some exceptions, but for the time being, just keep it in mind. So, if you look at this one, you see how there are some undulations, certain undulations are there. And this has been happened mainly due to the plotting of some unwanted keys. So, what happens if we delete these two keys? Are you seeing the nature of the graph? How smooth, how evenly the graphs are flowing up and down. And this will definitely reflect on the animation because this is the back end of what you see in the front. Let's go to rotation Z. Now, as you know, this was the last key and this was the first key. Of course, we can see that the value of the first key and the value of the last key are equal. Don't pay attention to this part. We'll come later on. Now, what is the value here? +5. What is the value here? -5. That's also quite fair. And the value here is 12. Now guys, can you see this graph is going up, coming down, slowly up, but this is creating a hindrance. This part, if you see, the graph is not flowing smoothly. Graph was anyhow going up, but the smoothness of the graph has been disturbed by this key here. It is actually not the key, but the tangent handle. Pay attention here. See this one. Select this one, select the handle and make it up. Go to the last key, select this handle and make it down. Guys, can you see how smooth it is? Now again, the smoothness has been disturbed with this key here. Now see, what are these graphs? These graphs are the reciprocal graph of this, the main graph which has been plotted. So just check the nature of the graph here, going up and down, up and down. Now this was earlier being obstructed by that tangent handle which we just adjusted. But here, if you see carefully, there's a little dent here. Hold this one, delete it. Guys, again, check it out. I'll make it enlarge. Hold this one. Also pay attention to these parts. Hold this one, delete it. Can you see? Just check this part. How the graph is being done very smooth. So more your smooth your graph is, the more smooth your animation will be. Similarly, let's go to the chest. No, there's no translation in the chest value, so leave it. Rotate X. We don't see anything. Rotate Y. Check out guys, the graph is going up and down, up and down, up and down. But these two keys, though it was necessary, I think it has created some unwanted obstacles, unwanted undulations in the path. Hold this to delete it. Be careful while deleting the keys. We'll come in those details in this later chapter. But see how the graph was smooth. Again, we'll make Control Z and check. See, though the graph is going up and down, but we can see that there are minute undulations over there. And then, anyway, these two keys were selected. Go here, check these part, check this part, and delete those two keys. Can you see how smooth the graph is now? So guys, just pay attention from 1 to 24. The shape is almost like a U or a V. Delete it. We do not have to do any changes here. We do not have to do any handle changes or any changes here, because automatically it goes up and down and makes a smooth curve. But here, if you see carefully guys, these curves started in the origin. It went up. Again, it went down to the origin. And then it again made the value of 0. As you know, that these 3 points are 0. For the sake of my convenience, I call it N graph, because it goes up here, goes down here, and goes up here. So it sorts of forms the shape of an N. Earlier, this is the V graph, or I can say the U graph, and this is the N graph. These are the two types of graph which mainly happens in any cycle. So guys, in case of the V graph or the U graph, you don't have to worry much about the start point and end point of the handle adjustment. But in case of this one, the N graph, I would suggest just pay attention to these parts. Did you see how it changed? Guys, pay attention how things are changing. And now again in the end, go here and come down. So you see, our target is to create a smooth transition between the cycles. This is the first cycle. From 1 to 24 was the first cycle, and henceforth onward the next progressive cycle are there. And of course, go here, delete this key. We created it for the sake of our convenience in the initial stages, but now when we are cleaning up the graph, we have to do this manipulations. Now you see how smooth it became. Further down, let's go to the shoulder. It is a U type or V type, or rather you can call M type. So you see already it is having a nice flow, and I don't see any point in changing it. Slowly you will be able to get a grasp of it. I understand initially it's a bit difficult. Let's go to rotation Y. Oh, nothing is there. Cool. Rotation Z. This is a U type or V type, and already it is creating a nice ups and downs. Just hold it, delete it. The similar thing we'll be doing for this right shoulder. This is already done, does not have. Spine 2 slowly will be going down. At a point of time, you'll become so expert with this graph that you don't have to even see the viewport. Just make it the full scale image. Nothing happens here. Rotation Y. Starting at here, ending at here, it went down here. What is the nature? Is it the N graph? It is either the V or the U. Select it, delete it. Go here. This is the N graph. Why? It started at origin, went down, crossed the origin, went up, and then again it met. The first thing or the immediate thing is to adjust these two handles so that the transition between the one cycle and the other cycle is smooth, and then hold it, delete it. Next comes spine 1. No animation, U type or V type, might be flip or normal, whatever. Delete it. Go to Z, N type again. Come here, adjust, come here, adjust. Smooth transition. Go here, delete it. Let's come to the pelvis where the maximum number of keys have been plotted and in many axes. N type. To adjust it, first I would suggest delete these unwanted keys. Then check this one. And then delete it. Smooth graph. Translation Y. Okay. This is the basically U type or V type, whatever. Delete these unwanted keys, not needed. Nothing happened here, nothing happened here. Yes. V type, U type, whatever. V type, U type, anywhere. Hold it, delete it. It's as simple as that. N type. Delete this, delete this, delete this. Now I think things are much more easier for you. Come here, adjust the graph. Come here, adjust the graph. Pay attention to both the viewport as well as towards the graph. This was the first key. Cursor is here, going slowly, the feet went up and the feet went down. So of course after that the feet didn't go up and it slided back. So there's no question of up and down further on. This key is creating an obstruction in the smoothness of the leg. Come to Z. This is one full cycle. Delete, 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 delete. Hold these parts and create and delete all those unwanted obstruction. Here, what happened? Rotation X reached this part, the maximum, as you have already witnessed. So this is creating an obstruction, I suppose. Delete it. The heel was reaching the ground. So you see, this was the maximum value of the heel. And then in 2 frames, the heel laid flat. And after that, there was no heel rotation at all. So these are just the normal keys which has been automatically plotted due to the selection of the quick selection set. Ignore it. Rotation X, we didn't do anything. Rotation Z, we didn't do anything. Similarly, go to this feet. The feet in the initial stage was going back, so it didn't go up. Slowly it started going up here. This is the maximum point where the feet went up. So this is the key which creating an obstruction, and we'll delete it. Translation, Z again. For a smooth translation, we'll delete it. We'll delete this one. That's it. Let's check out the hands now. The hand had rotation, translation and almost everything. Okay, so let's start with translation X. V curve or U curve, whatever you might say. It's going down, down, down and coming up and it's ending here. So these two are creating an obstruction. Delete it. Translation. Now we need to focus. What is this? Is the first point key and this is the key 24. So what happened? Don't you think that this should also and form like this for a more even thing? Now let's see. So this is the starting. This is the part where the hand went down for the arc. Shall we go down? Shall we go down further? Yes, actually we can go down. So let's see if we can copy the same value and paste it here. How about this one? Will there be any issue? No, I don't think so. So what is the value of this? 5.9999. So we can easily make it to 6. So what is this graph? Try to understand. The value is 6. And what is this value? 5.9999. Like it's just negligible. So this is something which was formed by mistake. So we'll give the value to 6 because this part was unnecessarily done, I suppose. It's fine. We'll go to this X. This is the starting point, value of 80, ending point, value of 80. So what happened in between? Yeah, in between the value reduced or increased and then it went up and again it went down. That's fine, no problem. Now let's see if these two values we can make it same. In 7 it went forward and then yeah, it's fine. What happened if we do like this? What is the value? 79.189, 79.221. These are the fractions. Due to course of time or due to wrong manipulation, these values were formed. So we'll make it to whole number 79 and this also 79. 81.218. Let's see what happens if we make it to 80. Very minor change, of course. So yes, we have the liberty to make it in whole number. Now let's come to this graph. This starts from here and ends at, where did it end? 24 here. So it went up and it came down. So guys, what happens if we delete these two keys? Just pay attention towards here. Smoother than the usual. But why? Control Z, take it here. What happens when I delete the key? No. So buddy, you need to be very attentive while deleting any keys just for the sake of making the graph much smoother as what we were doing earlier. Check out how much difference it is going to make. If we delete this key, what happens? The rotation which we did gets lost. If we go to 12 and delete this key, what happens? The rotation gets lost. So we are not in a situation to delete any of these keys. Rotation Z. It started from here, went down and then it ended here. How about if we delete these two keys just to get a nice flowing arc? Let's go to this key and select this key, delete. I don't see much of a change. So this key can be easily deleted. I don't see any reason of not deleting it. Let's go here, 12. What is this key? Delete. Yes, I don't see much of a change. Feeling that actually we didn't need to animate this rotation Z at all. Cool. So you see, rotation Z, I can feel now that these keys which has been plotted, it was mainly due to the wrong handling, or when I was about to change any graph in this axis or something, maybe some keys might have formed here and it had unnecessarily created some trouble. So you see, whenever you delete any key, always see in the viewport that how much difference is it making to the actual model or the actual controller. Accordingly, you can delete these keys. Let's come to this hand. Let's start from rotation Z. It started from minus 3.595. How about if we go here and instead of keeping minus 3.595, how about if I'll show you also side by side. If we keep it to minus 4, I don't even see any change actually. So of course, if the first key is minus 4, the last finishing key also has to be minus 4. Go here in 8. What is the difference between these two keys? Minus 4, minus 5.783. Okay. What happens if we delete it? Rotation Z. What is rotation Z? This one, right? And it was mainly for the delay. Okay, no, I don't see much of a change. Go here. No, I don't see much of a change here. Go here. Nobody. Absolutely fine. If I delete all the keys also, it's not going to make any major impact on my animation. Rotation Y. Now guys, check this thing. Did you see? This is almost like the N curve. Come, adjust the graph. Come, adjust the graph. You see how things have been managed, but still I feel that this curve can be more adjusted to form a smooth transition between these two. Yes, this looks better. Rotation X. No, I don't see much of a change. How about this value? This is 78.437. Like, how about making it 78? Control Z. Let's see closely. How much difference does it make? 78.437. Make it to 78. How about this one? How much is the value? This is 80. How about if we delete this key? No, not much of a change. How about this one? Like, check out this one, the starting key. That is 78, 80.962. Whoa. Make it 80. Come here. Shall we delete it? I don't see much of a change. This key we have already deleted. Come to 19. What is the key? 79.493. Oh man, deleting. Buddy, did you see this graph? What is happening? Slowly it is going up. Let's go to 500. I'll show you what happens. With every rotation, the value increases and eventually this finger is penetrating the leg. Did you check it out? But was it doing in the early stages? No, it was not doing. But due to that fraction of change in the first key and the last key, the left hand is coming slowly towards the knee, and if I speed it up, then eventually guys you will see that this is almost rubbing, going. Now it is touching, penetrating. Change the timeline to 1000. So the cursor went here and this is what happens. Eventually as we proceed further, the value increases. Check it out, Gary. Value increases and it goes steep up. And what happens if we make it to 5000 here? Turns, twisted, and what else? What else do you want? This is the importance of keeping both the keys identical in case of any cycle. Rotation X, it started with 80. It will also end with 80. Immediately see how the wrist went back to a normal position. What is the translation there? The back and forth, back and forth. So this started here, ended here. I'm absolutely fine with it. Now these two keys, check that there's a minor difference of values between these two. This is 6.978, this is 7.084, whatever. Let's go here, and if we copy this value 7084 something, no, let's keep it on a whole number and make this also 7. Do you see much of a change? On the contrary, the entire graph went such in a smooth way. Go to the translation Y. What is the translation Y? This up and down was the translation Y. We started here and ended here, absolutely fine. In between, we went here. This is -6 and this is -5.999. Do you really think that it is going to make any difference? No. Hold it, delete it, delete it, delete it. Gone. I guarantee you, these deletion of the keys and the making up smooth of the minor keys is going to really change your animation in the final look. So you see, now almost we have dealt with all the keys. It's nothing to get confused of. Once you select one by one, things are absolutely clear. These two keys, I don't know what keys are those even. Just hold it, delete it. Arbitrarily I'm taking some keys. See, now I'll tell you one thing. This, I don't know which controller is this, but there was no animation in this controller since all the values are 0. If you want, delete this thing. Okay, so we have deleted all our keys, unwanted keys, and we have made the other keys smooth. This much of value change does not happen. This much of shoulder change does not happen. But just for the sake of our convenience, we have made it, and now you can clearly see what are the changes that usually happens when a person walks. The pelvis and all these things goes here and there, rotates ups and down. Now there are changes which might also affect the hip. Pole vector also might change depending on how the hand is coming forward and backward. The leg pole vectors also plays a major role in changing it. Not a major role, of course, but this is how the walk cycle works out, and the graph, how you need to adjust to get things on a much smoother scale. I've just created 2 polygons. Let's check out how these 2 polygons react to each other. The red polygon is for the chest line and the green polygon is for the pelvis line. Check how these 2 lines react opposite to each other in terms of the walk cycle. When the legs are getting up, this is rotating on this side and this chest is rotating on this side. Similarly here, while this leg is coming up, this chest is rotating in this way and pelvis is rotating it this way, opposite to each other. Let's switch out the geometry, and this is the top view. Just check how they are reacting. So one is equally opposite to the other. Check out here. So this is how the pelvis and the chest reacts to each other in an opposite way.